Hey, good evening, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the Eye Test. I'm your host, Mark Coles, and I'm with a good friend and a gentleman, Shawn Williams. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. Seem like we on a hot streak right now, but that's fine.
Yeah, don't get used to it.
All right, you know what I'm saying? All good things must come to an end, that's fine.
Yeah, man.
But I'm gonna bask in the moment, though. I'm gonna bask in it.
I gotta keep you humble out here. You be getting a big hit, dog.
No, don't do that to me. First off, you humble.
I gotta keep you humble.
You were trying to teach somebody how to be humble. This is crazy, Mark.
I gotta keep you humble out here. Dog.
This is absolutely insane. Mark is trying to teach somebody how to be humble. This is insane.
And I am one of the most humble guys you know.
You're like Rick the Model Martel. You know what I'm saying? You come out with your little big ass thing, just spraying your arrogance everywhere, all over the room. Wrestling reference for those that didn't understand that.
Is it arrogance or is it confidence?
It was arrogance. It was not confidence. It was for sure arrogance.
Is it arrogance or is it confidence?
I'm telling you that it was a direct. The reason why I chose that analogy is because it was specifically arrogance that the wrestler was using. Yeah, and I'm talking specifically to you. So this was not a mistake, Mark. Arrogance is what I said.
No, it's just confidence, man. When you when you talk it and back it up, it's confidence.
You know what I'm saying? Look, we might as well just get started here in a minute.
You know what I mean? Like certain things I'll be like, I'm not good at. I can't do that. I'm not well at this. But then certain things when I'm good at it, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
There's a certain stench in here right now. It's just,
I don't even know what you're talking. I'm just a soul, and I feel like I'm misunderstood.
God. That's what we're going with. Okay, sure.
I just feel that's how I feel in life. I feel like I'm often misunderstood, and it's sad, man.
You Allen Iverson now? Huh? You Allen Iverson now? You just misunderstood? No,
I'm not Allen Iverson. But I do understand his plight of being misunderstood.
Very similar plight. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like not nearly the amount of talent or anything like that, but like being misunderstood, I get that. Like, hey man.
Look, I can't take any more of this. So let's move on.
I'm a unique individual that speaks his mind and like that. And I just feel like, and I'm not a fake person. So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people that be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I'm not good at this or whatever.
So being humble is just being fake.
Yeah,
that's fake shit. Hey, you're so real. You can't even be humble.
That's fake shit. That's fake shit.
Hey, you know what? Like, I've heard it all.
Yeah, I feel like humble people out is just liars. That's all. That's it. That's all that is.
Like you don't see that as a positive trait. Hey, they lying. They just liars. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. Legitimately, like, with Floyd Mayweather, what he says out his mouth, or like what, like you generally be like it or love it, you take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Right? Correct?
Sometimes.
Yeah, like it or love it, you take it for what it is. Now, Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, will you ever know what he's thinking?
So what you're saying is, you at least know what Floyd is thinking and what he's feeling, what he's speaking is genuine from the heart.
Exactly.
He's just keeping it real.
Exactly.
Keeping it real arrogant. That's fine. That's fine. That's good.
No, I'm just saying, is it real arrogant? Because they be like, oh man, like Manny Pacquiao to this day be like, oh, well, that guy Floyd, he says some stuff, but it is what it is, like I'll fight him again, this, that, and third. Meanwhile, he in his house talk about this piece of shit. Fuck him. Like,
man, first off, I'm not gonna allow you to slander Manny Pacquiao like that, because he's probably the nicest person on the planet. And then I'm going to let you know the Filipino community is not going to let you slander that man's name like that. So you be careful, Mark. You be careful.
All I'm saying is, man, people that are overly nice, you shouldn't trust them.
Like, that's funny. Maybe some people are just some people are just nice people, Mark. Can you accept that some people are just nice? Some people are just being genuinely nice because they are.
But I am a nice person. I am genuinely a nice person. Like, would you disagree with that?
You've done too many asshole things in your past in your lifetime.
I don't even know what you're talking
about. We're not, this is not the show for that. So
like, hold up. I've done,
have you never done anything that you wasn't proud of?
Have I never done anything that I wasn't proud of? That's no.
Is there things on the list of things that you've ever done in your life? Is there anything on that list of things that you're like, you know what? Not too proud of that.
Oh yes, of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like
who doesn't feel that way? But does the things that I've done in my life that says, yo, Mark is a good dude, or Mark did this, Mark did that, blah, 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 blah. Or is there anything, does it far outweigh Mark is an asshole? Probably so.
You must have done a lot of good things in your life, is what I'm going to say.
Listen,
that's my comment for that. You must have done a lot of good things in your life if it outweighs the bad by that much. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Yo, I'm just going to say, how am I a good friend then? Like, that's all I'm going to say. Like, if people say I'm a good friend, like, then how am I a good friend? And then I done all this bad shit.
You could be a good friend and you could be an asshole to everybody else. It works that way sometimes, man. It works that way sometimes. Look, I don't.
Listen, man.
I'm glad that you won't treat me like how you treat everybody else. But
I get like, see, that's nice because I get the shirt off my back. Just the other day, dog. Just the other day, there was a man driving, and I was like, "Yo, hey." He broke down and he was outside. I pulled my car over. I was like, hey, you okay? He's like, man, I just need to push this car into the gas station. I was like, I got you, bro. Let's do it. Let's get it done. And I helped him push the car. I do stuff like that.
So you just an everyday good Samaritan.
Yes, Negro. Yes.
You know.
Yes, absolutely.
Look, I'm gonna have to check in with my peoples over there. You know, I got some peoples. I gotta let them know, like, yo, you need to put a tail on them. You know what I'm saying? You need to watch this, Negro. Man.
I could the Spear campaign is crazy right now, dog. Like, yo, there was a mother and a daughter and a father walking. You know what I'm saying? They were walking in the rain, pouring down rain, and they was walking to a bus stop or some shit. And I saw them.
This is starting to get ridiculous.
No, like,
go ahead, continue.
This is a God honest, I'm not playing around story. Like,
old couple pouring down, cats and dogs.
I didn't say old couple. One, I didn't say old couple. Now you spice.
What'd you say?
I said there was a couple a while ago. I didn't say about old couple.
Go ahead, continue.
But like I said, there's a couple and they had their daughter and everything and pouring down raining. And meanwhile, I'm working at the time and I'm driving, cause I was doing the Uber thing, and then I made sure to turn off I turned off the app, made a U-turn, and I was like, listen, it's crazy out here. Like, how far, where y'all going, man? and they told me where they was going. I was like, all right, get in. Like, it's crazy out here. I can't have y'all walking in this shit with your baby. Like,
cut the app off. Cut the app off. Shut it out. That's it. Okay.
and I took them to where they went, and then I turned it back on and went about my day.
No big deal. I do stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, clap it up for Mark, everybody. Clap it up. I don't know if that was a performance, so I don't know what's going on here. But if it was true, you're just a great guy, Mark.
Why would that be a performance? Like, right now, Like right now, I feel like you disrespected me.
I'm trying to see how far I can push the joke, man. Hey, I think I hit the right button, dog. I hit the right button.
Dog, like I feel like you disrespected me, and I don't like it.
Hey, so I pressed the right button. I finally hit the button. Okay, we good now. Look, okay, Mark, you're a great guy. I get it. You're a great friend, Mark. And apparently you were a really good person, even when nobody's looking.
Yes,
right.
I am. I would like to think I am. I would like, or not even think I am. I try to be. So, you know what I mean? But listen, man, your friends, man, that's crazy. How many of us have them? That's what
you have a friend sitting right in front of you, Mark.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
Solid friend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got your back anytime you need it, Mark.
Okay.
What you need, brother? I got you.
Okay, sure. I'm sure.
You sound like you need moral support. You need moral support?
No, I need character witnesses.
Oh, okay.
And you not one of them. Apparently. That's what I
Look,
need.
Don't blame me for the type of character that I witnessed. I don't know what you want me to do.
Listen. Again, I'm a human being. It's not my fault that you witnessed two sides of a coin. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Duality. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my issue. That's because I'm living in truth. I show both sides, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's a good answer.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Unlike some people that be flipping out on the inside, having side conversations about people and they don't like them on the inside, but then they be like, yo, man, I love you, Doug. It's cool. Whatever, and then move on. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this: that shit does not resonate with me at all. I don't understand how people can do that.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if I have a problem with somebody, or if I think that lowly is somebody, then I'll just tell them. You know what I'm saying? And it won't be all love. So Mark, understand. You a good friend. And I rock with you, okay? I rock with you. I ain't got no problems. I made a couple jokes. Don't take it personal.
Like I said, I don't trust.
Oh, look, I just made a couple jokes. I don't. A smile in your face. Tell.
Nah.
Okay.
Ha ha, funny man. Ha ha.
All right. Here we go. You gonna call me Kevin Hart? like Jada Kiss?
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Keep it going, Kevin Hart. Shut up.
Yeah, dude. that whole version is wild.
I'm trying to think of a way to segue into this, and I can't even really.
I have a segue. Imagine after all the back and forth between James Harden and Giannis, and James Harden telling Giannis, yo, he can't do nothing. He's just tall. You know what I'm saying? I could do everything he could do and twice as much. He's just tall and he can't play shit. He can't do nothing. He's not worth nothing. He's not talented. He ain't got no skill sets. And then be like, yo, you trying to come to Houston? You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to join up with me? Hey, man. It's pleasure, man. Pleasure. Hey, I'm so happy to be working with Giannis. Like, imagine how crazy that would be if after all the shit that James Harden has talked about Giannis, that he just welcomes him in with open arms and just starts saying, hey, man, yeah, you're supposed to be coming to the team and everything. I really think your game is great. Like, I'm going to believe all the shit that he was talking before.
Right.
And if you're Giannis, you wouldn't want to end up in that situation. So, but since we're speaking about Giannis.
You know what I'm saying? Well, since we are speaking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, like, I guess, previously Giannis has spoken about, doing it the right way and getting the ring out the mud, so to speak, and that he could have went elsewhere, linked up with some guys and got it that way, but getting it this way is so much sweeter, and he might never get there again, but he got there now, so it is what it is, and he's satisfied with his results. Well, I could tell you some teams that didn't quite feel that same way Giannis does. I can tell you some players that saying, nah, bruh, what you talking, that's great for you, but we ain't on that. And one such player one such team rather, is the LA Lakers, man.
Mm-hmm.
The LA Lakers have created their own super team, or so to speak. And the Lakers have added Russell Westbrook, who gets to go home and gets to do everything that he does for LA. He could now do that during the regular season more often. He could be more connected to his city, and hopefully win the chip. Carmelo Anthony has joined the roster as well. So I wonder how that's gonna work out for Dame now that he has to root for Russ. I mean, he had to do it in OKC too.
So. This is different though. This is differerent.
This is a lot different.
Because I know he's not like. I know he's not a Laker guy.
Yeah,
and then
he's not a LeBron fan.
He's not a LeBron guy.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna make it through the season, man. This is crazy to me.
Yeah, but he's a hardcore Carmelo fan, so that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be really interesting.
And then one more thing I need to add to this. He loves the Warriors style of play, and he loves Steph Curry.
Yeah, and this ain't
how does this go
like that?
But I'm saying, what are you going to do when the Lakers go up against the Warriors in the playoffs? Who's he going to root? I'm trying to figure all this out, man. But there's going to be Dame's not going to be the only one. There's going to be quite a few people with the way that the team is currently constructed that they're going to be really confused, man. Because I know, like, these are totally different fan bases, is what I'll say. The only fan bases that I think cross over even just a little bit is maybe LeBron and Russ. They might cross over just a little bit, but LeBron fans, like Carmelo fans ain't LeBron fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how that works. You know, Melo fans ain't Russ fans. They definitely not. Not at all. Not even the least bit. So I'm just like, and then you think of LeBron fans, they already not Laker fans. It's really weird that they're like, some guys that are LeBron fans are like, man, I got to root for the Lakers. And then you got Lakers fans that ain't LeBron fans that are like, man, I got to root for LeBron. It's just a whole mixed bag. It's going to be very interesting to see how people react to the wins and losses. And you're going to be able to tell which fan base they're a part of by what happens when they lose. When the Lakers lose a game that people think they should have won.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think everybody's gonna get trashed. LeBron is definitely gonna get trashed. Carmelo's definitely gonna get trashed, and Russ is definitely gonna get trashed. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works. The one person that seemingly is gonna be safe from the trashing is AD.
Yeah.
Who I think he should get more criticism, but that's different.
But that's because everybody feels so strongly one way or the other about every player on that team.
Everybody else is very polarizing,
except for AD. Like, yes, like Westbrook is polarizing, and like Westbrook is the most polarizing person on the team. Like, either you love him or you hate him, and most people hate him, but but you know, by my standards, their reasoning is flawed. And so go ahead.
Well, I say, but just real quick, when you talk about the most polarizing, some people out there might think that LeBron is the most polarizing, but he's not, because at the very least, even his haters respect his talent.
Right.
They respect what he can do. When you hate Russ, you do not respect anything that he could do.
Yeah, and that's where it gets crazy.
It's different. It's different. You're right. It's different, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and it gets crazy when like you don't even respect, and you find a way to like discredit anything that you've done. Yeah. And so, but yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting season with the Lakers, you know. Any other additions that they had? Because I know other players.
Malik Monk, Kent Bazemore, and Kendrick Nunn were the notable ones that I remember. They re-signed THT, Horton Tucker, They re-signed Horton Tucker, and the one person that they did not re-sign was Alex Caruso. Oh, Dwight Howard. My bad. I completely forgot. Dwight Howard's back in LA now. So
yeah,
I think I covered all. I think that was it.
Now
my bad. One more. Trevor Ariza is also added to the roster. That's the last one.
All right. So now with people saying the LA Lakers are the most stacked team in NBA history, this kind of leads me into a thought that I had about super teams. What qualifies a team as a super team? Because I think there needs to be some ground rules, because when you talk about certain things about players, it's like, well, is that necessarily a super team? Or like, because some would say what Miami Heat is doing now, like, oh, they're trying to build a super team. And I'm like, nah, bro, that's not a super team. That's a very good team that they're building. Like, yeah. I would never call that a super team. So yeah. I figured let's talk about it. And given Giannis' comments and what's been going on in the NBA lately, let's talk about what qualifies a team as a super team in the first place. So by your standards, sir, you could go first. What qualifies a team as a super team to you?
All right. For me, it's clear. I believe you have to have 3 players on your team that are either superstars or perennial all-star players.
What does perennial all-star mean to you? Just so we're clear with the audience.
Just to be clear, like, for example, I'll go back to Cleveland. When you had LeBron, Kevin Love, and you had Kyrie Irving. At that time, Kyrie Irving might not have been a perennial all-star, but he was definitely a superstar, right? Talent-wise, you knew he was a superstar. Okay, then you look at Kevin Love, who I did not consider to be a superstar, but he was a perennial all-star and was considered to be one of the best players at his position in the league, like top 3 player at his position in the league. So yes, that's what I mean by perennial all-star. Like, Kevin Love came into the league and was, basically playing on an all-star level for most of his first 3 or 4 years in the league. I want to say, I would have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure he was that guy. He was an all-star. So yes, perennial, meaning like, hey, one of these guys that before the first ball hits the court, this guy is more than likely going to be on the all-star team. So if you are one of those guys, it doesn't matter for me. If you were drafted to that team, it don't matter. If you came to that team, and you were just an all-star, then yes, like that is a super team. Okay, superstar, perennial all-stars, 3 of them on one team, and whatever combination you want to call it, and what you have there is a super team.
Okay. I think for me, I kind of skew the way that you do. Let me ask you, does age factor in at all?
Depends on the level of play. That's why I said like perennial all-star. You have guys, and I'm going to reference back to Karl Malone with the Lakers. Although he was not a perennial all-star by that time, which he might have been, who knows? He was still, but I think the year before he went to Lakers, he wasn't an all-star. But it doesn't matter. He was still averaging over 20 points a game, and he still was a superstar. He still was a number 1 on his team. Matter of fact, that's what I forgot to add to the list. Perennial all-star, superstar, or your number 1 player.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, yes, like in that scenario, that counts. Even though he was aged, he was really old. Mm-hmm. He was like close to 40 or 40 years old. If he's still giving you 20, and he was still a number one on his previous team, then that means something. So if you're old and you're no longer that player, which I'll give you another example, which I'll use the Lakers again. Gary Payton going to the Lakers was different than Karl Malone going to the Lakers. Gary Payton was, I would say, no longer the best player on his team. I mean, he might have been. He wasn't even a top scorer on his team, but he was already falling off the wagon. He was no longer making all-star games. So his age was different. His age out was totally different than Karl Malone's. So I wouldn't have counted Gary Payton at that time against the Lakers for being a super team. So
Gary Payton was still a very effective player.
He was, but I think he was one of those guys that was a fringe. It was a fringe situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like at that time, even if you asked him to, he wasn't going to be able to get you 20 points a game. He was past that stage in his career. And defensively, he was still pretty solid, but he was not the guy that he used to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Karl Malone was still capable of giving you a 30-point game, 35-point game. It's different.
Right. I guess because for me, like I would agree that being a team of number ones or having three like top tier talents on one team would make you a super team. Like there's no denying that this Lakers team is is built to be a super team. Now, whether it's a poorly built super team or whether it is, or whether it's a good super team, time will tell that. But the fact of the matter is, you do have two MVPs on. That's like you have two MVPs on one team, and somebody that at one point within the last 3 years was considered top three at the very least, top five center in the league. So
shoot, he was considered. People were trying to call him a top 5 player in the league when he went to the LA. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely that definitely counts. These guys count. It absolutely counts. I will say that. Like, for the people that are trying to count Dwight Howard in, people hear names. This is what I don't like. People hear names and like, oh, like nobody gives a damn that Blake Griffin went to the Nets. Like, we don't care about that. Like, that don't. Ooh, look how many people they got. It's Blake Griffin. Did you just watch his last 3 years? Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Like,
nobody should bring Dwight Howard in the conversation.
No.
He's been coming off the bench for 3 years, dog. Like,
Dwight Howard hasn't been the guy on the team since he left Orlando.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard hasn't been all-star level productive since he left Orlando.
Right.
The closest thing that you'll see from that, as far as being all-star level production, is maybe the first 2 years he was in Houston. And now, I mean, you would have to be reaching for that. So I'm saying, no, like, we're not going to do this Dwight Howard talk. Right. No, that's kind of weak. That's kind of weak.
and like that, so that doesn't apply there. But I guess like another stance is, well, just for shits and giggles and to have fun, let's talk about some teams. Like, Dallas Mavericks, when they won their championship, would you consider that a super team?
No, they did not have enough players. And to be honest with you, at the time,
they had Dirk, they had Jason Kidd, and
who are you going to say? Jason Terry?
Well, Jason Terry.
Who else did they have? Sagana Diop? Who are you going to say that they had? I'm really trying to figure. Josh Howard? Look, man, that Dallas team was a very solid team.
Yeah.
It was a very solid team, well-constructed team. it had the right amount of veteran presence that was still able to play, being Jason Terry and Jason Kidd. But Jason Kidd, I could not like Jason Kidd. It's hard. That's a hard one for me because I don't even know if I would put Jason Kidd in this category, but he couldn't give you a full 35 minutes anymore. He still was able to be a facilitator, but he wasn't going to be able to average 10 assists a game. He wasn't going to be able to give you a 25-point performance if you needed him to. And at that time, you think they were going to be able to put him on D-Wade?
Right.
I don't think he could have guarded Norris Cole at that time. Or Mario Chalmers. I'm just saying, that's just me. I don't think he could have guarded Mario Chalmers at that time. So no, like he definitely wouldn't count. So you're talking about one guy, Dirk. Yes, it was a very solidly constructed team, but that's not even close to being a super team. Not even close.
Well, here's another one.
Go.
Here's another one. Would you consider Denver when they had Carmelo, Allen Iverson, and Chauncey Billups a super team?
Yes. It was a poorly constructed super team, if you ask me. I don't know if I would say poorly constructed. It wasn't that badly constructed, but that was definitely a super team. AI had just left. He had just left Sixers, but it wasn't because he was washed up. It was because he couldn't get along with the coach. Totally different. He left. AI was still AI at that time when he went to Denver. Carmelo came into the league giving you 20-something points a game. And then Chauncey Billups was coming off of a championship run with Detroit.
Right.
He was 2 years removed from that. So yeah, all those guys were still considered to be prime.
But here's my issue about that. Was Chauncey Billups ever considered the best at his position or one of the best at his position? I don't think so.
It depends. I'll be honest with you. It depends on who you ask at the time. And the only reason why I say that is because during that stretch where the Pistons had their run and they got their championship, you would be hard pressed to find anybody in the league, not just the reporters in the league, that wouldn't want Chauncey Billups on their team to be their starting point guard. I would say at that time, maybe he wasn't considered to be the best point guard in the league, but he was definitely considered, regardless of his stats, he was considered to be the top 5 point guard in the league at the time.
Top 5? Really? You think so?
At that time, yeah. We're talking about just being a facilitator, being a leader. He was at that time, he was the best leader as a point guard at that time. He was the most clutch at that time. We can name all the stuff that he was doing. Maybe he wasn't giving you a bunch of points, but he was one of the best 3-point shooting point guards at the time. He was doing a lot.
Yeah.
But the reason why he never would, I believe wholeheartedly, the reason why people didn't look at him that way is because Detroit played this way of basketball that was like, everybody's just going to average 18 points. It's hard for people to look at you that way when you play on a balanced team.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. We're gonna have to look into this.
We have to. That's a fair argument, though. But I say that's a fair question. That's a fair argument that you're putting up against Chauncey Billups. But to me, like, if you know, like at that time, Chauncey was still considered to be Chauncey.
I mean, Chauncey was a great player. Like, for instance,
I'm saying in that stretch, he was in that stretch, though. You know,
but like,
go ahead.
Here's the so yes. Where did DeMar DeRozan just go?
What are you talking about? I know he was with the Spurs. I don't know where he's at now.
He just did he go to Miami with Kyle Lowry?
I don't know. Let me look. DeRozan, Chicago Bulls.
He went to Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
And so anyway, I don't know what made you think, but I wanted to be clear of where he went. But Kyle Lowry just went to Miami.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Lowry is still very effective.
Yes.
At his job. Like so is Jimmy Butler. They're both great players, but neither one of them are the best at their position. Like neither one of them are the best at their position. Like I would never call Miami a super team.
Well, do they have to absolutely just be the best at their position?
Well, that's my.
I'm asking you because if you look at it right now, Russ not the best at his position,
but
you know what I'm saying? But AD, some people right now would take Jokic over AD right now.
But no, Russ, yeah.
I'm saying like
you don't have to be the best, but I do feel as though you have to be top 5 at your position. And regardless of what anybody says, if you win the fucking MVP, like, hey, like
you can say that. You can say that, but I'm saying like, but okay, I understand what you're saying. There should at least be an argument for that person to be top 5 in their position. See, like me, I don't put that on them at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, okay, we could go back to you
don't have to feel that way, but you have to understand the argument why somebody would have them there.
Only reason I'm saying that because if you look at the time when Ray Allen went to Miami, he was not considered top 5 at his position.
No. Well, actually,
he wasn't.
He wasn't, but he was the best. He was still the best shooter in the league.
But what does that mean?
It means a lot.
JJ Redick is the best shooter in the league at one point. Kyle Korver was the best shooter in the league at one point. I need you to be specific, Mark. But then I need you to be specific. I need you to be specific. You can't just say he was the best shooter in the league.
You let me know at what point Kyle Korver was the best shooter in the league.
When he was with the Sixers. That's fact.
What year was that? So actually, it's no need to say what year was that because that's the same time Ray Allen still was in his prime, and you're gonna say to me, because people was out there saying Kyle Korver is a better shooter than fucking Ray Allen. Stop it. That never happened.
No, we're not just talking about him being in his prime. We're talking about Kyle Korver before he went anywhere outside of Atlanta and the Sixers. There was a time period where he was leading the league in 3-point percentage. And all of that, and field goal percentage. So what are you talking about? Like when you do?
No, that means he's a highly effective shooter. Nobody's calling him the best shooter in the league, Doug.
I need you to see. This is why I'm trying to get you to be specific, Mark. See, what you're trying to say is like, yes, Ray Allen was a great shooter, and yes, he might have been the best shooter in the league. When you say best shooter, Mark, what you're saying is he can shoot under any circumstance. Which is different. You can't just say he was the best shooter, like because somebody might just look at it and be like, "Yo, some guys just can shoot." Like, but no, like what he was able to do was not just shooting. It was based on his ability to create shots. It was based on his ability to pull up from anywhere. He could pull up with a hand in his face. He could do all these things. Like a lot of the reasons why Ray Allen was the greatest shooter was because of the things that he can do before he shot the ball. But that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like you can't just say.
And he was still that shooter when he went to Miami. Now he was not. The athleticism may have started to leave him, and he was not particularly on that Miami team. You're not starting. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah,
because
but see,
like they don't have room for you to start.
But let me put it this way: my argument for Ray Allen going to Miami was always. In my mind, he was still a superstar that could play at a superstar level. That's all that mattered. Are you a superstar? Can you play at a superstar level? It doesn't matter how good you are at your position per se, because I don't want to put that's why I don't want to put a number to it. Top 5 of your position.
That's a much more effective way of saying that is that. Are you a superstar and can you still play at a superstar level? Yeah,
like as much as you want to say about PG can still play at a superstar level and he's still a superstar.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But he does it in the playoffs is not my business. But you know what I mean? Russ is absolutely capable of playing at a superstar level. Dwight Howard is not. He is not on that list. He's not on the list. He's never going to be on the list.
Okay, so we cleared that up. Like it's less about being top 5, but more so about being a superstar, still playing at a superstar level. Because Chris Bosh, when he went to Miami, was a superstar who was still capable of playing at a superstar level. So when people say Bosh wasn't a super, like when they say, look at what Bosh did while he was on a team, that wasn't a super team. No, because if he was on any other team, he would have been number 1 or a co-number 1. He wasn't going to be anybody's number 2 anywhere else but in Miami.
Yeah, and he would have been able to give you those numbers he was giving you in Toronto. That's why I always look at what they do the year before or the years leading up to when they go to these teams, because it gives you an idea of what they're capable of. And at no time did I think that Chris Bosh was less than he was before. I just thought that the role that they had him in is what dictated his numbers. But in the few times where you see them go to him, if especially when D Wade started getting hurt in that last season. Yeah, if they needed to go to Bosh in a game where D Wade ain't there and they need the extra offense and LeBron can't carry it himself, that's what they was doing, is going to Bosh, and he was still able to get you 25 and 10. Like that's the way it works. Can you give me those superstar performances?
Right, absolutely.
Because if you can't give me those superstar performances, or you're not capable, it's not even possible for you to do that. But then we're not even having this conversation. Like I just look at it like, yo, you have 3 guys. Like look at the Nets, for example. And I know it's a horrible example, but because we know what they're capable of. But what happened? There was a whole beginning part of this team up to where they always only had 1 or 2 of the players. And everybody was able to do their superstar thing at any given time when they were asked to. That's what I expect from a super team. Yeah. That's what I expect.
And I think that is a very clear example of what a super team is, or what we believe to be super teams. So, I also wanted to talk to you about, now that we kind of straightened out what super teams are, can you name one of your favorite super teams that failed? Like one of you, that was just a failure. That was a flat out failure. Yeah. And yeah, that was a flat out failure. And what do you like? Do you consider if it doesn't end in a championship, a super team is an automatic failure, correct?
Yes, I'll say that they don't have to even get it the first year.
Right.
Just in the tenure that the team is together, if you don't get at least 1 ring, then I see it as being a failure. So I personally think the first thing that always comes to my mind is the Lakers with Karl Malone and, Karl Malone there, Gary Payton. I already told you how I felt about the Karl Malone versus Gary Payton thing. Mm-hmm. And, if you just say Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, that's 3. Okay. Right. That was enough that was definitely a super team. And it was a failure. Right. I mean, granted, I don't know if people realize why it was a failure. Besides the beef between Kobe and Shaq, you had injuries. Everybody was hurt that year. They came together like the last 15 games of the season, and they were finally able to play with all 4 of those guys together. The last 15 games of the season, they didn't have time to gel, but they had so much talent they were able to just, roll through the rest of the West. But they did at the time when they needed the team chemistry the most, they didn't have it, and that was in the first year. If that team were to get formed up a year or 2 earlier, and then they actually had some years, if they had a chance to go 3 years with that team and them being 2 or 3 years younger, mm-hmm. they would have definitely won a championship. I don't think Detroit would have beat them twice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just that's the way I see it. But they was only constructed for 1 year. They didn't have time to gel. Everybody was hurt throughout the season. And then when it came down to it, they didn't have any chemistry. Besides, that was it, you know what I'm saying? And then you had the Kobe and Shaq beef on top of that. So, but that definitely was a failed super team. That is not the way that anybody thought it was going to go. And I say that's the biggest failure to me. It's one of the biggest failures. It's one of the biggest failures to me because they got smoked. They got smoked by a team that was not supposed. They were supposed to sweep Detroit, and then Detroit beat them 4-1.
Right.
And they literally lost the first game and then swept the rest of it. So yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of, I also want to bring that up because a lot of people would like to sit here and say, well, not a lot of people. I'm not going to say that, but I read an article that called this team a super team. And I saw in the comments people in agreement, which was weird. But there are people out there that would consider that Detroit team a super team. That Detroit team was not a super team. Like, just because what they did in their tenure together, they ended up being superstars and they all ended up doing great things together. Their formation was not the formation of a super team. Their formation was a formation of building a solid team. None of them, except for Rip Hamilton, was what they went on to be at that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like Tayshaun Prince was practically a rookie, and then Ben Wallace was undrafted, correct? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so in Ben Wallace, that run is what started off Ben Wallace's him being a perennial all-star. Right.
And so that doesn't so you can't count that one. So okay, so I'm going to trying to find some old rosters here because this is the thing about it. The Blazers, if I'm not mistaken, Rasheed Wallace wasn't even the number one guy on the Blazers before he went to Detroit.
Right.
So, and I'm looking at this roster, Mark, and he was on a roster with, Bonzi Wells was on that team. Zach Randolph was on that team. You know? So, so Zach Randolph at that time was a guy. They still had Darius Miles. You know what I'm saying? They had guys on there, but really, really that team was, that was Zach Randolph's team. He wasn't a number one. Rasheed Wallace wasn't even a perennial all-star. I love Rasheed Wallace. One of my favorite players, period. He was not that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When he got picked up by Detroit, he got picked up to be the third option. That's, you know what I mean? So he wasn't that guy. People would like to think that at that time, but he wasn't, man. So no, Rip Hamilton was the only guy at that point in time that was considered to be, all-star level talent. Yeah. That was it. Chauncey Billups didn't come into his own until that run.
Exactly. The formation of the team doesn't make it that doesn't make it a super team. Like, for instance, the Warriors, their first run was not a super team.
No.
The Warriors, their first run was not a super team. Now, when you add in KD, that is now a super team because you are taking two players who are established, well established at their position at this point, and now you're adding another player, another superstar at that level to the team. So that is a super team once KD arrived, but you can't call it a super team. Call it a super team if the players aren't established. Essentially you can't call it a super team in hindsight. You can't. You can't go back. You can't go back in retrospect and be like, since they turned out to be these guys later,
well, now we go back to the beginning, then they were a super team. No, that's not how it works. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That's the best way to describe it. You cannot call a team a super team in hindsight. Like, because no one thought the Warriors were what they were going to be prior to that. So
yeah, exactly. So I'll say this, for me, like, I know we discussed it before, but Draymond Green, would probably take offense to some of the things that you're saying right now. You know what I mean?
Well, Draymond Green is my left nut. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like look, Draymond Green. Listen, Draymond Green has done great things in the NBA, and I applaud him for doing so many great things with the limited athleticism that he has and the limited level of skill that he has. But we also have the understanding that this is also due to circumstance. Anywhere else,
you don't think Draymond could be Draymond somewhere else, Mark?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like,
you know what? Fine. You know what? I'm not gonna argue that. I'll let you have that.
Like, dog. If you was gonna die on that hill, that would have been a crazy hill to die on. Like, I'm not. So like
I don't fuck with Draymond like that. I don't fuck with Draymond, but like, I respect him.
Yeah, him being decent. Sure, he could be decent somewhere else, but the things, like, there are moments within that Warriors run and stuff where he was great. I'm not going to say he was like phenomenal, but there were, and I'm not going to say it was the entire run. I'm saying there were moments in there where it was like, what the fuck? Who is that?
So I will say this, Mark. I have to go back to my own part of the super team assessment. Can I rely on him to do superstar things? Can I just call on him to do superstar things when I need him to do? I can't.
Exactly.
So you got me there. You got me. It's like you can't call on Draymond. Like, where was he when KD got hurt? Where was he?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't be like, yo, I and nobody has that expectation of him neither. Like, so like that's different. But now it is my turn. We kind of got sidetracked there, but it is my turn.
No, it was kind of on topic, sidetrack, but go ahead, man.
To name a team that, my favorite team that has failed visibly, and my favorite team is the Houston Rockets. The formation of
Pippen, Barkley, Dream.
Yep. Pippen, Barkley, and Dream, man. That is my particularly favorite one that flat out failed simply because of where they got eliminated. Eliminated first round.
They were out early.
And the fact that it blew up so spectacularly to the point where Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley don't talk to each other today. Like, you know what I mean? And we just seen recently Scottie Pippen is still chirping in the media. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Scottie Pippen anyway. He may be going C now, but
last time I seen him, he was trying to go for the Maxwell hairstyle, but he just looked like Bubbles off the wire. So I don't know what he's got going on in his life that putting him through whatever he's going through. But
yeah, he was still talking. He still talks about Charles and talks crazy about him. So it is what it is. And Charles at that time had his stuff going on. So that's mine.
I'll say this just to add to that story is Charles Barkley even came out after time and said, that was on me. Yeah. I kind of didn't want to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, Charles Barkley came out. So, like, if I'm like, yo, man, we lost that shit because of Barkley, and you got people trying to talk you out of it, like, nah, man, you just need to own up to it. Just like, you know what, you guys could have done better. It's all right that you guys lost. And, they're trying to talk you off of that shit. And then only for Barkley to be like, no, Pippen's right. I was I was to blame. Like, that's got to be a tough one. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow. Like, so not only was you the fault, you was at fault, but like Barkley's not a guy that goes out and just admits he's wrong anytime. And this motherfucker, this is the one you want to fess up to. You're really humble about it. You're really calm about this fucking, sabotaging of the team, bro. Like I wouldn't want that to be the moment where you're just gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? That is on me. You know what? I wasn't giving all my effort. That is not what I want to hear. Right. I'd rather just think that way and you not confirm it.
Right. See, and it's funny that you say that, because that's another thing that I would like. This just brought me back to our earlier conversation about arrogance versus confidence. I do not feel as though an arrogant person can ever be honest with their love with themselves or what they like, what they're good at or whatever. Like, I don't feel as though an arrogant person, like, for instance, here, perfect example. Adrian Broner, arrogant.
You're right. I ain't even got no argument for that.
Adrian Broner, arrogant. Floyd Mayweather, supreme confidence.
You know what? This is what I'll say. I think I found the perfect word to describe what I'm talking about. Okay. Because there's something in between confidence and arrogance, and it's cockiness. But cockiness comes from a place where you just know you're good. So like, I say that. It's cockiness. There's a certain cockiness, yeah.
I can accept that I'm a cocky motherfucker. I can accept that.
Then we found some common ground here. That's good.
I can accept that I'm a cocky motherfucker, but arrogant I am not. Because I will always be like, nah, that dude better than me. Oh, he got it. Yeah. I'm always willing to say who or what I'm not good at. I would just, when I'm good at it, I'm just going to be like, I'm good.
So I'll give you this. I thought Conor McGregor was arrogant until when he got his first L, he literally just said, "You was a better man today." Like, that was it. Like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he ain't. Like, maybe he can.
Yeah, like, being, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to just be able to accept, like, what like the falls. Arrogant people do not accept that. Arrogant people make excuses. For their falls and their failures.
You're right. That's a good one. I'm glad we were able to clear that up, Mark.
Yeah. Like, I could accept if anyone was to say, yo, you're mad cocky, I'd be like, oh, that's
okay. I know you mentioned the Rockets. Did you want to speak about any more about the Rockets and that team and their failure?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And the only reason why is because I'm going to try something new. I want to try something to where the people that are listening, hopefully we could get some engagement out of you. Maybe we could get you guys to share something with us, and let's have a conversation. And the comments are on our YouTube page, our Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Like, I would like to ask you guys, name a failed super team that you liked, or to name a super team or name a team that you felt or feel is a super team and others will argue against you on. Like, and let's have that conversation. Let's talk about it. So yeah, man, that's how I want to take that. You cool with that?
Yeah, I'm definitely cool with that. Sounds good.
Well, excellent. You know what I'm saying? Well, we'll end this one here. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the shorter format and the one subject matter. We'll see how this works out. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for now, man. How about yourself?
That's it, man. I'm just trying to get the sun out my eyes. You see this shit coming in like crazy right now.
I feel you. It seems like the sun is getting low. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I got first world problems. I got a big ass opening at my front door, and it's a window right at the top. I got to get like a 12-foot ladder to put something over that. But
that sounds. See, Here we go. This guy being arrogant. That's why.
That wasn't no arrogance.
Like you just showing off.
I was just speaking the truth.
I got this big ass house. I got
you asked me what I wanted to do. I'm trying to get my eyes out the sunlight, but I'm explaining to you why it's a problem. What you want me to do?
This dude is out here like, I got this big ass house. I got all this opulence, and the sun is in my eye. It hurts. What
can I do, man? I was just speaking the truth about the situation. I'm just an honest guy, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see?
Just an honest guy. That's it.
I feel you, see? But see?
I'm just saying. I don't know. All right, I guess we do understand each other then. But, my bad for the misunderstanding earlier. My apologies.
See, there you go, man. Yeah, with that, we're going to close this one out, man. And we're going to close it out with, I'm going to ask you guys, name a super team that you like. Name a super team that failed and that you think of all the time. And if you can, name a super team that you may have felt is a super team and other people don't feel as though it is, or name one, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So that, like, let's engage. Let's talk about it. Let's rap.
Mm-hmm. Let's do
it. And catch you guys in the socials. And as always, man, like, yo, we really want you guys to like us, enjoy us, and all that stuff. So, you know what I mean? Because we really want to be cool with y'all. We really want to have a good time. So please engage with us. We'll engage with y'all. And with that being said, peace.